And then the very next thing we get to is chapter 3. Look at chapter 3, verse 1. Wives. You see the word likewise? Likewise is there to say, just like Christ. Even when it ain't your will. Even when you don't want to. This is not an option, by the way. This is a command. Wives, likewise, be submissive. Hold on. What does submissive mean? That's part of the problem. What does submissive mean? It's two Greek words. The first one is hupo. It means under. Under. If you're under, something is what? Over. Under. Hupo. The second word is tasso. Tasso means to arrange in order. So, put the two words together and you have under in order. Not under in chaos. Under in order. Not under in mayhem. Under in order. In order. Under in order. It should look right. It is in order. It is a military term. This is the way you describe an officer and an enlisted person. The enlisted person is under and in order of who? The officer. In order to do this, it has to be voluntary. Listen carefully, man. She has to voluntarily submit. You can't beat her into submission. You can't verbally abuse her into submission. You can't mistreat her into submission, and you better not lay your hands on her to try to get her to submit. Because it's not really submission. That's called slavery. It has to be voluntary. If you want her to submit and she's not submitting, love her. Yes. Pray. Plead with God. But whatever you do, don't make her submit. Because if you try to make her submit, Proverbs says it's really bad to stay in the house. Y'all know that scripture. You don't stay in the house with a woman that's mad. Matter of fact, it said it's better to be on the roof than to stay in the house with a mad woman. I'm just telling you what the Bible says. So you can't make her, you can't talk her into it. She has to do it willingly. Now, here's the key. It says, wives likewise, be under and in order, submissive. If you read from the King James, it probably says subject to your own husband, or husbands here, because he's talking about wives plural. Now, why would he say husbands plural? Why would he say wives? In other words, we were going to say, why do you need to be submissive to your own husband? Do you have other husbands? Well, no, but you act like some things are your husband, is what he's saying. He's saying that you should be submissive to your own husband. Listen, ladies, listen very carefully. What he's basically saying is that once you get married, this is where your submission lies. It no longer resides with mama and daddy. You still honor them. You still obey them. However, he comes first. In other words, mama can't call you up and say, baby, I need you right now. You need to get over here. And you jump up and look at your husband and say, my mama needs me, I'm gone. You can't do that. No, what this is saying is that when you get that call, you say, Mom, let me check with my husband. And you go to your husband and you say, honey, my mama is in trouble. And she's asking if I can come over there right now. Now, ladies, let me tell you something about submission that the devil doesn't want you to know this. Submission is the best weapon you have to make your marriage work. Let me see if I can give you an example. Have you noticed that men that have little girls, me, Ella Hill, Brother White, men that have little girls, have you noticed the little girls always seem to have a wrap around their finger? Have you got jealous because you look at it and say, you know, you're nicer to her than you are to me? Do you know why that is? Have you watched your little girl? Your little girl might be hard-headed, but I bet you one thing. When it comes to daddy, she's pretty submissive. You see, it is ingrained within a man that when submission comes into his life, he begins to react a certain way, and when someone is submitting to him, he'll give them whatever they want. No matter how upset I get with Trinity, and Adrian will tell you, there are times when she leaves us alone and comes back and I'm totally frustrated. I'm at the end. I'm turning around looking at her, this girl gonna cause me a heartache. Later on in life, she's gonna break my heart. Do you know why I'm saying that? It's because I want to do whatever I can for her. Do you know why? It's because she shows me a great deal of submission. Every night, I go up to her room and I check on her. I put her to bed, I talk to her, I give her a kiss, I go down, I go to bed, and there are times when I wake up in the middle of the night, and guess what I do? I get up out of bed, and I walk up the stairs, and I walk to her room, and I just look at her. Why? I want to make sure she's okay. If you feel like your husband ain't doing what you'd like him to do, ask yourself a question. How submissive am I? Do I actually go to him and say, honey, is it okay? Or do I go to him and say, honey, I'm doing? There is a subtle difference between I'm doing and I'm going, then is it okay if? Have you ever talked to your girlfriends and they said, we're going here, and you said, okay, I'm going? Those are the words of a non-submissive wife. You know what a submissive wife does? She does what I do when y'all ask me stuff. Let me check with Adrian. Oh, guys, I know what you're saying. What are you talking about? Well, down in verse 7 it says husbands likewise. We'll get to that next week. We'll get to that next week. But ladies, when you get to the point where you start, when your girlfriend say, hey, we going shopping, and you say to them, let me check with my honey. Now, here's the problem. We have been raising women, especially in our community, to be what? Strong. We've been telling them, you don't need a man for nothing. Now, I don't know if you know this, but that goes totally against what Scripture says. And that sets them up for failure in a marriage. Because if she don't need me for nothing, then she don't need me. A man is built to have a woman that needs him. And if a woman don't need a man, stay by yourself. Until you figure out you actually need a man. If you haven't got there, you're not ready. You're just not ready yet. So he says, wives, likewise, be submissive to your own husband. Your own husband. If you got a job, think about how you are on the job. The job tell you to be there at a certain time. Why are you there at a certain time? They tell you to go to lunch at a certain time. Why do you go to lunch at a certain time? And then you go home, and anything he say, you argue with him about it. Do you know what's happening with him? He's sitting there thinking, every time your mom calls, every time your daddy calls, every time your girls call, every time the job says something, you run off. But when it comes to me, I'm an idiot. And he just might be. But there's news for you in the next section. That even if some do not obey the word, ladies, you might want to highlight that part.